So now let's start with the American Golf example to print the sum of all the numbers. That is, if you go to americangolf.co.uk website, and over here we go to this golf clubs and I go to this drivers link. Now out here on this web page, what you have to do, you have to print the sum of all these numbers. You have to print the sum of all these numbers under the brand section. You have to do this. So now how will you do it? Let's see into that. Now before starting with it, I assume you know how to extract multiple components on the web page. Alright, okay, that is, we will create a new Visual Studio project, American Golf example, and inside this main function, I have just launched my Firefox browser. Okay, and then after that, I'll simply navigate to my URL. That is, I have to go to this particular URL. Okay, and then what you have to do, you have to extract all these elements, all these numbers which are there on this web page. So if you look into the XPath of the first number, this first number has got this XPath, right? And then we have the XPath of the second number as this. Okay, the second number is having this XPath, and then the third number is having this as the XPath for it. Alright, the XPath for the third number. Now if you carefully look into the XPath of all these numbers, what is changing? Now if you carefully look into the XPath of all these numbers, you will notice that the complete XPath is same. For all the numbers, the complete XPath is changed. The only difference in the index of the li tag. The index of the li tag is changing for every element as we go down. Right, so we can simply try to find all these elements with driver.findElements. Find all the elements by XPath. And what would be the XPath? The XPath would be this. Okay, right. So if you try to inspect with this XPath now, that is, if you remove the index of the li tag, and now if I do an evaluation, you see that this is giving us all the numbers which we actually want in our script. We want to extract all these numbers only, right? So this will be your XPath in order to extract all these elements. So we'll just first of all find all these elements with this XPath, and this will give us a list of web element, say numbers. Okay, and then I'll just see how many numbers are there. That is, you say total number of numbers are numbers dot count. Alright, and I'll just run my code. Okay, so it opens up the Firefox browser, goes to the drivers page, and hold on, it's still loading, and then you see that it says total number of numbers are 10. That is, we have total number of these numbers, the count of these numbers is giving us the result as 10. Alright, okay, so we have all these numbers. Now what else you have to do? You have to now print the sum of all these numbers. We have to print the sum of all these numbers. Now before printing the sum, let me first print the text of all these numbers. So I'll write a for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than the total number of numbers we have, and I plus plus. Okay, and I'll simply print the text of these numbers, numbers dot text. Alright, and I'll run it once again. Okay, so you see that it prints the text of all these numbers 21, 10, 9, 7 and all these. It prints the text of all these numbers. Okay, now next what we have to do, we have to print the sum of all these numbers. But then there is one thing over here in the output. If you carefully look into all these numbers, you will see that we have these numbers enclosed within the brackets, which we actually don't want. We have to print the sum of the numbers, and during the addition, in the addition, we will not include these brackets will not be included. So what we have to do, we have to first of all remove these brackets from the numbers, and then after that we will print the sum of all these numbers, right? Okay, so we have to first of all remove the brackets from the numbers. So how will you remove the brackets? So I'll just first of all store the text in a string variable, that is you have numbers dot text it is. Alright, and then you have to remove the brackets. So in order to remove the brackets, or else what you can say, I want to extract the number only from this complete text. I don't want these brackets, these round brackets, I don't want in my output. Alright, so in order to get the element, in order to get the data from some particular location, then for that we have a function in C# that is substring. So what this substring function do? It retrieves a substring from a given text. That is, it starts at a specified character position and has a specified length for it. Alright, that is, inside this you have to provide your starting index. That is, now over here if you carefully look into this number, now first number, it is actually this number, we have two round brackets and 2-digit number. So the complete length of this entire number will be 4. The complete length of this entire number will be 4. That is 2 for the round brackets and 2 for the number. Okay, and then the indexing, it starts from 0. The first round bracket opening is starting at the index 0. It is at the index 0. Then we have 2 at the first index, 1 at the second index, and round bracket closing at the third index. Okay, right. So what you have to extract? You have to extract the data at the first index. This 2 will be at the first index. Round bracket is at the 0. Then 2 is at the first index. Alright, so we have the starting index as 1. Okay, and then I want to extract my element till the second index, till the data at the second index. Alright, I want to extract the data till here. Fine, and then I'll just print this data. Let us see. So now if I run it, okay, so now if you look into the output, you see that it prints the text, then it extracts the complete data, the complete number from the given text. That is, the round brackets are now removed from the first data. Similarly, for the second data as well, the round brackets are removed. We have the number only with us, the number that we want. Alright, and then we have the data for the third number, that is 9. Now 9 is a single digit number. Alright, and if you look into the output of this third number, that is 9, you see that the last round bracket, the round bracket closing is also coming in the output. That means we are not removing the bracket for this single digit number. Now this single digit number, now for the 2-digit number, our substring function is working fine. But for the 1-digit number, our substring function is not working fine. Now why it is so? It is because the length of this number is actually varying. For the 2-digit number, now for this text, for this entire text, the length is actually 4. 2 for the round brackets and 2 for the number. But for this text, for this single digit number, the length of this text is 3. That is 2 for the brackets and 1 for the number only. We have single digit number. So in this case, so in this two type of digits, the length is varying. So based on the length of the text, based on the length of the entire text, we will have to call the substring function. Based on the length only, we have to provide the parameters inside it. Alright, so what you will say, you will check that if the length of the text, if it is equal to 4, if it is equal to 4, then we will simply call the substring function like this. That is, I want to extract the data starting at the first index, that is 2 and then 1. Alright, but else if the length of the text is equal to 3, as in the case of the single digit number, if it is equal to 3, then you say text dot substring, we want to get the data at the first index only. We have only single digit number, so I'll get the data at the first index only. Alright, so starting position is also 1 and the ending position is also 1. Alright, okay, so I can simply store it in a variable. Alright, so now when I print my result, if I run my code again, okay, hold on. Alright, so now you see that now we are getting the correct output. That is, we are getting the numbers only from all this text, from all these elements. We are getting only the numbers, right? We are now not getting the brackets as well with these numbers. We are only getting the numbers. Alright, so now next what you have to do, now next you simply have to add all these numbers and print the sum of all these numbers. Alright, so what you will do is that we will simply, I'll simply create a sum variable. Okay, and then one more thing, this text is actually of the type string. Okay, and then we have to actually print the sum of all these numbers. Alright, so what you have to do is that you will first of all convert this string into an integer variable. Say you will first of all convert the string into an integer. That is, for that we have convert dot to int 32, and what you have to convert, you have to convert the t variable, the variable in which we are getting our numbers. Okay, so I'm simply converting this number, this text which is of the type string, into an integer variable. Alright, and then after that we will simply print the sum, that is, sum is equal to the sum plus x. Alright, and then I'll just print the sum as well. Yes. Okay, so now if I run it once again, okay, so now you see that it prints the sum of all these numbers. It sums all these numbers and then print the result as well. That is 59. Right. So this is how you print the sum of all the numbers.